Where am I? I think I'm pretty screwed. No data. No water. And the next bus is coming in approximately 5 hours. And the only reason why I ended up in this situation is because I have not watched this video, how to travel around Czech Republic. But you will, and you will learn from my mistakes. And I will go wait, at least they have some books inside there. In this video, we will show you how to choose public transport correctly, tell you how to buy tickets, and share our tips on how to not to end up stranded in the middle of Czech nature. In the end of the video, I will also bring you to a very cool, unique location, very close to Prague, where you can go for a hike or for a pilgrimage. It is very off the grid. So let's get into it. First thing you need to know is that there are two basic means of public transport in the Czech Republic: trains and buses. Luckily for you guys, Czech Republic has one of the densest railway networks in Europe, so it's definitely possible to get almost anywhere by train and additionally using the bus. Let's talk about how do you find out how you get to places. To find out what bus or train you need to take, I recommend to download the app IDOS to your phone. It is in English language and it's quite simple. Choose your starting point and your destination. In the menu up here, choose whether you want to go by train, bus, or you don't mind combining both. If you choose bus or train, it will usually show you the fastest connections. If there is a direct train, it will show you the direct train. But if you are traveling to some less popular destination, you might need to change midway, and it will show you that as well. Let's talk about how do you buy tickets. When it comes to trains and speed trains, you can always buy tickets online, but not all buses in the Czech Republic have that option. If you're gonna take an intercity bus, most likely you will have to get your ticket on the bus. For that, you need to arrive a couple minutes before your connection, line up, and then tell the bus driver where you are going. Pro tip, bring change with you, because most likely tickets are gonna be cheap and the bus driver will appreciate if you will have change. If you won't have change and you will give them a banknote, it can result in a certain argument. Coming from experience. There's some exception to this rule. If you're gonna take a highway bus with such companies as Flixbus or RegioJet, we suggest buying tickets online because they will most likely be sold out if you try to get them last minute. If you know that you are only traveling by train, it is of course also possible to get the tickets at the train station, but please arrive 20 to 30 minutes early so you can queue at the cash desks. For example, in Prague main train station, there are often queues to the cash desks, and you will also need some time to find your platform because Prague main train station is pretty big. If you are going from some smaller train station, you usually don't need so much time. People on our walking tours often ask how to get to popular destinations such as Karlštejn, Kutná Hora, and Český Krumlov. So I thought we can cover this in this video, even though we've been to all three of those on our channel before. We will link the videos about them down below, but we can quickly talk about how to get to those places. Let's start with Kutná Hora. There's a direct train to Kutná Hora that leaves from the Prague main train station, and it takes about 1 hour. It goes few times a day, but there is also another connection with a transfer in Kolín, which we don't recommend for the first-time users of Czech public transport. Transfers can be tricky, but I will talk about it later. Going to Český Krumlov is a whole different story. First of all, it's much further away. It takes about 3 hours to get there by public transport, and if you want to go there, I actually recommend taking a bus. And you will be going with either RegioJet or Flixbus, so definitely purchase your tickets ahead of time. There's also a train that goes to Český Krumlov, and we've taken it before, but it's actually less convenient because the train station is much further away from the historical center of Český Krumlov than the bus station. It will take you around 20-25 minutes to walk from the Český Krumlov train station to the city center. And because Český Krumlov is far away from Prague, we recommend starting your journey early in the morning if you want to take a day trip. And finally, Karlštejn. This one is actually the easiest one because it's about 45 minutes away from Prague, and there's also a direct train that you can take there. Now let's share our tips for your comfortable traveling around Czech Republic. First of all, if something is close on a map, in practice it might be actually pretty far away. What do I mean by that? that. Some places have direct connections, usually because they're popular touristy places or towns and cities where a lot of Czechs go to work, so it will be very easy to get there. For example, it was surprisingly easy to get to Litoměřice and Liberec because there were direct connections there. But if you are traveling to some lesser known destination, to some smaller town, or maybe for a hike somewhere, even if it looks close on the map, it might be actually pretty hard to get there because you will have to be transferring all the time. And that brings me to our second tip, and that's connected to the transfers. Sometimes you have virtually no time for your transfers, literally minutes. So what you will have to do is when you get off your first connection, you will have to yell at a random stranger who is wearing railway uniform or bus uniform and ask them, in Czech preferably, if they're going to the place where you need to get to. I cannot stress enough how often it happens that you have only 2 minutes to transfer between trains, so you don't have time to run to the train station and look at the platform that you will need. So that's what you will need to do. Obviously that depends on how sociable you are, because not all people can yell at a random stranger in a language that they don't even speak, and not many Czech people in the middle of nowhere will speak English to you. So I rest my case. Please make sure that you have enough of time to transfer between your connections, because if it's just minutes, it might not be enough. Next advice comes from personal experience. First time I decided to go to Kutná Hora, I took a train. I was ready, I knew the station where I was supposed to get off at, and when it was announced on the speaker, I began to pack, I took my backpack, I went to the door to exit, and that's when it closed, and I went to a city nearby Kutná Hora called Čáslav and sat there for 1 hour waiting for my train back. The moral of the story is that sometimes you have just a minute to get off the train. So you actually need to wait for the train doors to open already before the train stops. Just when they announce it, go to the door and wait there for the train to slow down, and then you can get off. Next thing you need to remember is that sometimes the cash desks at the train stations close early, let's say at like 4 or 5 p.m. And in that case, you will need to get your train ticket on a train. But leave this trick as a last resort, because if you decide to always be purchasing tickets on a train regardless of the opening hours of the cash desks, the conductor will actually charge you extra for those tickets. It's just the way it works here. And lastly, this is not actually a tip, it's more of an answer to a very common question. Why are there so many people drinking on Czech trains? And I'd say it's just a cultural thing. It's just very popular. You see it in movies. People pre-game on trains. Let's say they're going to somebody's party or a wedding, so they just get on the train and they start drinking there. All right, let's go explore some pretty weird place we wanted to show you. So we just arrived to Srbsko, which is very confusing because it literally means Serbia. But we are not in Serbia. We are 40 minutes away from Prague by train, and we are here to see Saint John under the rock. You have a lot of questions, I'm sure. I will show you. Let's go over there. Czechia has a lot of hiking trails. Usually somewhere near the train station, you will find a pathfinder like this. It shows you the direction to your destination, how far it is, and which hiking trail color mark to follow. After that, just follow the color markings and enjoy the Czech nature. If, by any chance, you decide to give up your hiking adventure because you are too tired, but you are only halfway, you can save yourself by finding one of these little bus stations. Understanding the bus schedules can be quite a challenge, so here's a quick summary. First, look at the name of the bus station you are at and find it on a schedule. This will show you when the bus arrives at your station. Be very careful to choose the right direction. The stations the bus will go to next are listed below the station you are at. I would take the bus from this station to go to Beroun. Lastly, notice these little symbols. 2 crossed hammers mean it is a weekday schedule. The number 6 means it's Saturday schedule, and a cross indicates a Sunday schedule. But I'll try to make it today. A brisk 1 hour walk and we are here at one of the oldest pilgrimage places in the Czech Republic. It is called Saint John under the Rock, but the man who made this place famous was not John. It was Ivan. Ivan lived in the 9th century and he was a hermit, so he didn't need much, just a cave. So Ivan lived in his cave, did not bother anyone, and he was visited by the devil, who started tempting him. Not sure with what. In the 9th century they didn't have much stuff, I imagine. So Ivan was tormented so much that he left the cave and he ran and he ran and he ran up until he met Saint John the Baptist, who gave him something to defeat the devil with. It was a cross. So Ivan ran back to the cave, showed the cross to the devil, and the devil flew through the rock, and the hole in that rock is still there. Some light-hearted fact about this location before we finish our video. During the communist times, St. John under the rock was missing from the maps, because this is where they had the labor camp. Alright, bye.